And I said, yeah. And she said, I was with you. And so and the different people who have coached me to prepare me for that journey, similar sort of reactions, you know, like
absolutely.
It's just so timely. And I knew that whatever, like I said before, whatever I needed to go through, to experience, to actually release and embody and embrace into my heart with love was part of the preparation for whatever contingency I needed to have to go through that journey. And it played out every step of the way.
Yeah.
So I had, from the UK time, I wanted to go back to Holland, which was my birthplace in this life, to connect with my family there, which I did. And then the other place I wanted to go back to was Italy, because I had this real romantic space in Italy feeling that I needed to experience again.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever that's going to be playing out into my future here, that was all part of the scenario. And then I had the opportunity to go to Spain, and that was just magical. It was the most beautiful thing. And there's an aspect in Madrid of exploring more around there, and learning Spanish is key for me, wherever that comes from in whatever lifetime, you know. And I bring all that into me when I choose.
Absolutely.
And then obviously from a design perspective, I love architecture. So Barcelona was amazing. Like everywhere was amazing, because we don't have that historical architectural history here in Australia.
Okay.
You know, it's such a young country.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the Northern Hemisphere. The other thing I did, obviously, was I covered those continents in a northern winter over 4 months, which is beautiful.
That was the only aspect I was thinking. It's winter, it's peak of winter in all of these countries, and she's absolutely loving it, and I cannot bear cold. I'm not a cold person. I'm more of a spring and summer person. So I was like, oh my God, seeing you in all those thick clothing, it's like, that's not for me. I can do the journey with you. This is my way of doing the journey on all those countries. But physically, I don't manage, you know, any cold country like that. So
the coldest we got, I believe, was minus 27, which was really interesting. And I was totally prepared, because didn't the right coat appear when I was looking for something in China? Because it actually snowed when we were coming down from the Great Wall that evening, and alerted me to go to the store before I boarded the next flight to actually get that next thing, and it would happen to be there. So again, all of the synergistics, the synchronicities, the awarenesses, the picking up the clues, to having enough space in my time and, you know, like awareness to listen to the clues and to observe them, because we miss so many.
Yeah. So how did that experience enrich you, Sally? What did it teach you? What did you, what was the gift you found in that through the travel for you?
Oh, wow. Again, very, very personal. For me, it's that I have all I require in any moment.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you know, and even if it's as simple as having the confidence to ask someone for help.
Yes.
That's key for me, you know. Look, I'm really not fully aware of what I need to be choosing here. Can you just help me unravel some of this?
Just, what did you get from that? You know, how did it enrich you as a human being? You know, what lessons did your soul were there any new lessons which your soul experienced through the travel? You know, was it meeting new people? And I know you mentioned that you love architecture, so, you know, probably watching all those old buildings and the beautiful, you know, way they are carved. And
hanging out with Gaudi, you know, hanging out with Rembrandt in the museums and the art galleries, hanging out with Van Gogh in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, you know, like being on the canal, looking out of my window when it was raining, looking at the boats going along, you know, things like that I had visions of.
Yeah.
We have visions of things and we call them whatever we call them, you know, and some people actually dismiss them as being unachievable, unrelatable, unreachable, all of those sorts of things, which are very limiting beliefs, right? For me, nothing was off limits. And I made that very clear with myself. Whatever I'm here to experience, to actually validate So up until that point, I'd done a lot of shadow work, as you know, and the shadow work is the part of you that is in that unknown space that really has to dig deep and be an incredible faith to navigate things almost with blindfolds on.
Yeah.
So that's 2.5 years of my life prior to leaving. And so my intent for the journey was to actually allow me to validate that the work that I'd done had been of purpose, was in a valid use of my time and energy, and because I wasn't working, I wasn't, in a compassionate, I was working on this whole soul level, which is an equally legitimate space to be employed, by the way, just saying.
Yeah.
It's that vitality space that often we don't necessarily include in the careers list. That is the drop down boxes when you're saying, what do you do, so whilst it seemed a very introspective, deep personal journey, that was my next phase in this lifetime, in my soul evolution, and there was no way I could deny that. So the journey itself, the external experience for me, was really the validating of, okay, what did I learn in class? It was like going out in that real world and knowing that whatever it was that I was here to now embody, embrace, reframe, to as the now me, to actually take into that next chapter of my life, which is still downloading for me right now.
Yeah.
And as at different points I had to make very on the spot decisions. Do I do this? Do I do that? If I do this, that's the consequence. That's the investment I need to make financially. That's the bit that I may need to compromise and reframe and rethink and all of that sort of stuff. So definitely there was some. But how awesome is it that I knew myself well enough? I trusted myself well enough. I got into the stage where I knew I had my back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And front and sides and all of that.
Absolutely. And
that it takes for a soul traveller to actually, SOUL traveller to actually do that whole trip, Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you just, said that you had your back. And, we all know this, this energy or this, power, whoever is watching over us, they always have our back. But how many times do we have our back? And that's a beautiful way of, I think, bringing our session to a closure, that having, each other's back is very good, but having your own back is as important. And I think the best
vital.
And it is, it is something which we all need to do, and have faith in ourselves and have our backs as well. Thank you very much, Sally. I've enjoyed our conversation. It's been, again, an enlightening experience. I am going away fully energized, enlightened, having learned a lot of things again from this conversation. And I wish you, for the next chapter of your life, a beautiful journey ahead from wholeheartedness and from your magical walking, achieving whatever you want to achieve. Thank you very much.
We'll definitely catch up again very, very soon. This has been amazing for me, likewise, and such a privilege to be in your space. You have an amazing energy and you do this brilliantly. So blessings very much. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day ahead. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye now.